Welcome to the Lost Birds Knitting Podcast. I am Allison, also known as Lost Birds on Ravelry and Lost Birds Fiber on Instagram.
Hello, my name is Danielle, and I'm also known as Bright D on Ravelry and Lady D Bright on Instagram. And of course, as always, feel free to follow us, though Allison screens.
I do. So your profile has to have something like crafty, nitty, something. You know.
Awesome.
Usually artsy.
All of the above.
Yeah. I'm not super picky. I just don't want,
Creepers.
Yeah. Because I've seen some
Creepers.
Anyway, okay, this is episode 17, and today is November 9th, 2014. And so we're going to get right into our flight plan for the week.
Yes.
What are you working on?
Okay, so currently in my hot little hands are my blueberry waffle pattern socks in the It's Volatile colorway from the Sock Bunny Studios studio.
Sock Bunny Studio, yeah.
So this is one finished sock, and that is coming out brilliantly. I love that. And and here is, okay, we'll do the nice side. There we go. There's the cake. Now we'll put that away for just a second. I do have a bit of a big bag down here. And I was working on my folded cardigan. And there is supposed to be the finished object there. What it will look like eventually, hopefully. I was able to do a little bit of sleeve knitting on that, so I got about 3 inches on that bad boy. So there's that. So I've noticed in our recording that I say "there's that" a ton. So I apologize for anybody who thinks that annoying.
I say yay a lot whenever, like at the end of something, I'm like, yay.
Yay!
I'm sure there are things that we both say a lot. I say like a lot, I think. I'm from the West Coast.
Excuse me, as we determine statistically validated stereotypical stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, anyways.
That works.
I decided to stop in the very beginning of a row, so I apologize on that. But this is the Groovy shawl, and unfortunately I still don't know who is the pattern designer on this one.
I looked it up, but it's in the show notes.
Okay, it's in the show notes.
Yeah. And
so I was able to get 2 little teeth done on this, and I am really digging on how this is coming out. This should block out fantastically. So there's that. Oh, look at me saying it again. Anyways,
I didn't even notice.
And I'm using Miss Babs fingering weight. And this is a colorway called the Midnight Hour, and I do believe it is a Babette, so that means that it is a one-off colorway, not a one-off scheme. Oh, I had one up here. In a very dirty bag. And I am working here on the Witchy Woman socks, and this is just a 5x2 rib sock, easy peasy, and with the Fish Kiss Lips heel. And I don't know how I managed to do this successfully, but normally with the Fish Kiss Lips heel, you don't have any little holes on your joins where you go back into your normal size round. But I seem to have managed it, so I'll have to go in and find a little bit of purple piece and just kind of stitch it up a little bit. No problem. It's probably one part of her directions specifically in that pattern is to make sure that you pull one specific stitch tight, and maybe I just let it loose on that one very specific stitch. So, and I have maybe about a 1/4 inch to 5/8 of an inch to knit a little bit more before I start on the toe on this guy. Then I'll be done. And this blue is actually purple. Yes. So maybe this will help. No, it doesn't help at all. Okay. Put it
looks purple kind of against your shirt. Your shirt's blue. Maybe not.
Okay. In real life, it is purple.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe it's just the color somewhere.
Could be the screen too. Maybe it shows up better on other people's screens.
Have a very tiny but wonderful finished object.
Aww.
It's a little rye sock. And I would just want to say how this is the smallest sock in that pattern, or small size in that pattern, and it was just a joy to do, really, truthfully. And I did the fish kiss lips heel on this guy as well. And can I just tell you, zoom. I had this done in maybe an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Tops. And
it's really refreshing to do small projects like that sometimes.
And this thing stretches like nobody's business. So it will stay with the baby for a little while, which is exciting. So, but I was comparing, because my boss is going to have her baby either this coming week or the following week.
Oh, wow.
And I was comparing socks that she had brought in because she was trying to package a few things up for her hospital bag. And it was from the heel to the toe on the very newborn size was, maybe an inch to 2 inches.
Oh, yeah,
top.
they're teeny tiny.
And from my heel to where I started my toe is 3 inches. And then probably another good 3/4 an inch to an inch on the toe. So I'm so this is definitely not for newborns.
No, it's probably more like a year old or something. Even.
So hopefully it'll be good for, I don't know, Christmas present. Not this year, but the following year. But this is supposed to be for our craft booth come December 6th.
Oh, okay.
Which is quickly approaching
us.
It
is, and I find myself not doing enough for it right now.
Right.
I'm probably going to be scrambling right before.
I will probably be doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm wanting to work on my other projects, the projects that are specifically for me.
too much to do and too little time.
Exactly. And then I'm working on another barley hat. I'm hoping to make a set, so socks, hat, and baby vertebrae. So yeah.
Very nice. Anything else?
No, that is the extent of my flight plan.
Okay. Well, I'll show you guys these socks that I'm working on. I'm actually doing the heel right now. I'm doing a fish kiss lips heel as well. Kind of in the middle of it though. Or I should say I just started it, but it's just regular stocking up, but I've done a seed stitch strip up both sides.
Like a running panel?
Yeah. And I'm going to carry that all the way up the leg. And this was some yarn that I dyed. It's just merino nylon blend. And these are toe up, obviously, 2 at a time. My favorite way to do socks. So there's those. And this chaos right here is the shift tote that I'm working on.
Oh
this
my gosh,
pattern is a nightmare. Oh my gosh, it uses 16 balls of yarn at one time. 16 different balls are all attached right now.
But it looks like you've gotten a little bit further, so that's good.
You know, it is organized chaos. I know it looks like a mess, but it's actually not that bad. My only concern is that there are crisscrossed yarns going on here, and I'm afraid that I don't want it to form knots before I get to the end of
Well, and it's singles, right? So
they're singles, and they do tend to like stick together a little bit. So, but I made a little bit of progress. There's the bottom of the bag, and then I've started up on the chevron pattern here.
And how much space do you have to knit on the chevron pattern?
Oh, I have quite a ways to. Well, I have a ways to go still. Because, as you can see, it's a pretty tall bag.
Yeah. Is it supposed to be
I've just started, really, the chevron pattern. Let me see. It says the finished bag is 15 inches high. It says it's 15 inches high, 12 inches wide. Mine might be a little bit wider. I didn't, gauge swatch or anything.
Oh, it's a bag.
It's just a bag. It doesn't have to fit me. So, yeah. Anyway, so it's got a good start. And once it's going, it is a really easy, you barely have to pay attention to the chart, really. So, the only hard thing, obviously, is that there's so much going on with all the different colors. But, I work on it here and there when I'm sure I won't be... Oops, sorry, I just hit the microphone. When I won't be too distracted. And
Helped by small hands?
Yes, that would be an even worse tangled mess. And then I've actually been spinning a little as well. So I have one bobbin here.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, and this is my own dyed fiber. And it's 100% BFL. And the roving looks like this.
Oh, so there's green in there somewhere.
There's green underneath all of this. There's green, and you can only see a little bit of the pink, but there's more pink under there. And so what I've done is I'm fractal spinning this, which means that I had a long strip of roving, and I split it in half. So one half is currently what's on this bobbin. The other half I further divided into these 4 other strips, and I'm going to spin these in order, starting with the green on each one. So then when they're plied back together, you get this kind of interesting gradient effect. So there's the colors. It's purple. This is the tropical colorway. It's purple, magenta, it's kind of golden, yellowy orange, and a mint green. And that is all I have for projects right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go off course at all?
I did actually. Earlier today I was working on the heels, and then I noticed I was looking at the heel stitches, and there was just this one, they're just stockinette, they're just plain stockinette stitch on the heel. But there was this one purl bump in there. Why I purled for one single stitch in the middle of a random row, who knows, but I did. So, it's an easy fix. I just dropped the But yes, mistakes like that are always just really funny to me because I have no idea like what I was thinking when it happened. It's such a random thing. So, but other than that, and that mess of a yarn ball down there, I've done okay. How about you?
I don't really have any knitting off course per se, but the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, my husband and I have kind of made it a movie weekend, just kind of hanging out together and whatever else. So we have these 2 kind of low seat chairs in our house, and it's connected by a center console that has cup holders on it. So I realized like halfway between our second movie that I'm going to the kitchen to, get something in terms of snacks or, give something to the dog or, bathroom break, whatever else. And I'm slowly like gathering all of my knitting projects around me during the movies. So I had like the sweater, the shawl, and the sock on one side, and I had a hat and another sock on the other side, and I'm like, oh, I'm barricading myself.
You're just surrounded by your project.
So that it's just a little bit of a funny story versus being off course.
That is funny.
But anyway,
I've definitely been there.
But how was your week?
My week was pretty good, actually. So I talked before about, well, you know what, I'll end with this. Okay, well, first of all, it's Veterans Day this Tuesday, so that means we get a long weekend. We get a 4-day weekend, actually. And that is going to be very nice because I think, are going to try and go to Okinawa World on Tuesday, on Veterans Day. And that's the place that Danielle has talked about before, where they have, it's like, they have weaving. She's shown pictures or brought in her weaving that she did while she was at Okinawa World. But Okinawa World, it's, cultural things that are specific to Okinawa, like their particular style of weaving, or like, I think they have habu. They have a habu show there. Habu right. Are like an Okinawa pit viper that they put in
a ring with mongoose and they fight.
Yeah, it's a poisonous snake, but they put them in jars of alcohol too. Habu sake is what it's called, and that's like a very Okinawan thing. And Okinawa has their own particular style of drumming. Taiko is a very popular Japanese thing, and then Okinawa has its even own style of that, so which they call asa, and just all of these just cultural things that are particular to Okinawa. So we're going to go do that, and hopefully it doesn't rain on us, but I've been wanting to go for a long time, and I think this is, now that the weather's cooling down, this is the perfect time to go. So we're going to do that. We haven't done that yet, but this weekend I also taught another class. I taught a spinning class, so that was fun, and that was yesterday. And so as I've said before, I'm pregnant, and I'm expecting a little girl, and I've done the cloth diaper thing. I did that. I'm still doing that, actually, with Emrys, my son, and I plan to continue on with my new baby. And so I'm decided to buy some used diapers. There's a diapering group here on island, and people trade and sell and share information about cloth diapering. And so I decided to buy some used newborn diapers. And what's nice about used diapers for newborns is that they are used, well, they're used for a very short period of time. You know, the babies outgrow them very fast, so they're in really good condition even though they're used, because they haven't been used for very long. So, but I was buying like all these different newborn diapers from all these different people, and so a good part of my week was spent like just coordinating with all these people, like where to meet them, and sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth, I've decided, except that, you know, I feel good reusing things and not paying full price also for things that are still in good condition. So I know, diapers. I'm sure you guys are so interested. But anyway, that was a large part of my week, so it's not all fun and games over here. It's not all glamour. But I did do something that was a little bit interesting, and that was I did an interview actually with a Japanese television network. Fuji TV is one of the networks here, and they do a very popular morning show called Mezamashi Terebi, which is it's like alarm clock. Mezamashi is alarm clock, so it's like their morning show, and it's a nationwide show. I think the equivalent would kind of be like Good Morning America in the States, you know, or a nationally broadcast morning show. And, you know, it's news, but it's also kind of like
fun stuff.
Yeah. I think they have a segment of cute dogs or something. I don't know. I've never actually seen it because we don't have, our TV is not hooked up to anything except like our Apple TV, which we rent movies on once in a while. But, so I've never actually seen it, but a lot of people I've talked to have heard of it. You know, all of my Japanese friends have heard of it and watch it. So hopefully one of them will record it for me. But anyway, I did an interview with this TV show, and it was about the car. I talked about that in the last, was it the last episode or the episode before?
Episode before.
Okay, episode 15. I did a big art project on my husband's car with Sharpie markers. It's linked in the show notes if you look back. And there's also, I put a new artwork tab on my website because I was getting a lot of questions about it. So there's like a little Q&A and lots of pictures and things you can go look. But anyway, so this project I did it like 4 years ago. But recently it went viral on the internet, which was really strange, like just out of nowhere. And so I've been contacted by people, and then Mezamashi contacted me and wanted to do an interview. So it's just a telephone interview, and they have pictures and videos of the car, and I guess it's going to be like a 5 minute segment or something. So I don't know, I'm kind of interested to see it, because I mean, I was talking to a translator. I don't speak Japanese well enough to do an interview in Japanese, so I was speaking to a translator, and I know, I don't know, I'm not very, you can probably tell, I'm not very eloquent, I'm not very, I stumble over words sometimes, so I hope the translator cuts those parts out, makes me sound, better in Japanese than I do in English. So anyway, it was interesting and it was fun, and it's kind of cool that I'm looking forward to seeing the interview. I want to see it's always fun to see what they put together, or what somebody else focuses on. You know, it's interesting. So hopefully I'll get a copy of it, or I'll get somebody to record it for me or something. And if I do, I'll certainly link it for you guys. But anyway, that was pretty much my week. So how about you?
Well, this has been the first full week that my husband has been home in a while. And I just want to say how much of, I mean, we don't have children, but still at the same time, he is so much of a help just in day-to-day life. And sometimes a hindrance, but we won't go there. Just, I mean, like, taking the dog out so I can finish my shower without her whining at me, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, essentially, thank you, husband. But, this week was, kind of a whirlwind, just because of the fact that, I had to be at work, an hour earlier than normal and stay at work roughly about 45 minutes later than normal for 3 of the 5 days. As well as the fact that this was my boss's last week at work before her maternity leave. So it's kind of her preparing for an exit. As well as the fact she has let me know well in advance that she is planning on just kind of popping in whenever she needs to be, or that I can text her whenever I need some help or have a question or whatever else. Because she literally lives less than 5 minutes away from the branch, so she has made herself available during her maternity leave for me.
Well, that's nice, yeah.
Yeah, rather than just falling off the face.
So they're not, how long is her maternity leave?
6 weeks, but she decided to take a week of personal leave on top of that. Because, like, her due date is at the end of November, but her mother is coming into town. And just getting prepared in terms of, you know, meals made, getting mom settled, you know, stuff like that. And as well as the fact that she has 2 children prior to this one, and they all have been early, so she's kind of preparing for that as well. And of course, you know, with the maternity leave that we have out here, it is kind of unique because it doesn't fall underneath the federal standards. It still falls underneath certain standards, but not all the federal standards. So she gets 6 weeks upon the birth of her child. So it starts at 6 weeks upon the birth of her child. So if it happens to be a late child versus an early child, and she's already started her personal leave, then should be interesting. And then, you know, who knows, I might be at the branch 8 weeks, you know, without her or whatever else. So it's kind of, you know, preparing that and that sort of stuff, as well as she had a birthday while she was this last week, so it was fun. We were all kind of hoping that her baby would be born on her birthday, just to, you know, have, I guess she was kind of hoping the same thing, so.
It'd be a good birthday present.
Right? And then I have another team member who was promoted and is leaving us, so it was also preparing him as much as I possibly could, and what they would allow me to prepare him with, as well as kind of battling his own drive and initiative towards being prepared. He truly believes that he has this, you know, I got this sort of situation. And we're like, oh no, sweetheart. So we're expecting some IMs, emergency emails, that sort of stuff, of him not knowing what to do, and that sort of stuff. So we'll see how that actually goes. But yeah, so it was a lot of training, a lot of office time, which was not fun at all. I don't like being stuck in my office at all. I like being able to know what's happening in my branch. And the yen rate has been fantastic recently. We normally hover around, what would you say, like 98, 99?
Yeah, it really depends. Honestly, when I first got here, it was like 75. I mean, it was low. It was almost.
But that's when you first got
like
to mainland,
80.
right?
Yeah. But it was like that for years, and just like in the last year and a half, it's gotten closer to like 100 yen for the dollar.
Mm-hmm. And but this last week, it's been roughly around 110, 112.
Yeah. So it's actually getting even better for the dollar.
The exchange rate, yeah. And so for my branch, we've just been going through cash like it's going out of style. So a lot of
yen,
people.
you mean?
Yeah. Well, no, like we don't. My branch doesn't.
It doesn't carry yen?
No, it doesn't have the contract for yen.
Oh. You can't withdraw yen from the ATMs?
No, unfortunately, it's just the community bank ATMs.
Gotcha.
But for those of you who are living in an international military situation, military bases oftentimes only allow one financial institution to have that currency exchange rate for one financial institution. Like, that's only one contract. So there is a bit of a bidding situation in order to get that contract. So my branch does not have that contract.
But you guys are also a credit union as opposed to a community bank. They're kind of strange, but they're basically Bank of America.
Though they are not affiliated with it entirely, which is
it's very strange. But they are like a commercial, more of a commercial bank.
So it was kind of unique in the situation. People are pulling all of this cash out in terms of American cash in order to go get it exchanged at either community bank or at a out-in-town exchange, which oftentimes the out-in-town exchanges are better than the on-base exchanges, just because of the fact that there's often a fee charged onto the exchange rate that they kind of tuck in to what you receive back. I think it's only like 2 cents or something like that per the dollar, but at the same
depends on how much you're trying to exchange.
Exactly. So like we had a couple of people who were exchanging anywhere between $8,000 and $10,000 at a time. So that would end up being a lot.
Yeah.
So we've had to do a little bit of finagling in terms of where our money actually is. And then, like I told you, this weekend has been a movie type of weekend, and but my husband and I went for a drive today to find out exactly where Akuma is, because neither of us have been up there, and we would like to go camping sometime. So we had the privilege of seeing the Tour de Okinawa, which is a bike race around the island, and it impeded traffic a lot. So from Kadena Air Force Base to Akuma is roughly around, what would you say, 56 miles? Something like that.
I don't know the mileage. All I know is it takes like
forever.
Well, it's not that bad. It's over an hour. It's like an hour and a half drive.
Yeah. So I think we clocked it. Yeah, I think we did the conversion of 56 miles based upon our odometer, which our odometers are all in kms. So, times it by 0.621, and there you go. Don't ask me how I know that. Anyways, so we got to check that out. But since the Tour de Okinawa was happening, we got to see a lot of detours. So instead of the hour and a half that it takes to get to Okuma, it took roughly around 3 hours.
Oh gosh.
So we were able to, go out to Okuma, go check out the beach, go see what kind of amenities they have, which we were really excited. They have go-kart racing up there, so we're going to have to go back and do some go-kart racing.
Okuma is the place that I went with my family. There were some little bonus videos at the end of one of the episodes. It's the place where we went and rented that little beach buggy thing, that pedal buggy car. I don't even know what to call it.
Right. We're kind of disappointed to the fact that we can't bring our pet up there, but we definitely understand why we can't bring our pet up there, which is a whole subject in and of itself. But we came back home and continued our movie watching. But that is pretty much my week in a nutshell. And so, do you have any bird calls?
I really don't, other than one of our new members is Crystal T on Ravelry, and she just happened upon our podcast, I believe. But I actually taught her to spin about a year ago in one of my classes. So when she introduced herself on the introductions thread, she was like, "Oh, you taught me to spin," and I was like, "Oh, well, hi, you found our podcast." But anyway,
hi, welcome.
Yeah, so hi, Crystal. I hope you can make it out to one of our knit nights, and it's always nice to. I mean, it's always nice to meet knitters and spinners and other fiber people, but especially in Okinawa when there are so few of them, it seems it's really nice to connect. So I'm glad to have another member, and especially a local one.
Definitely.
So, how about you? Any bird calls?
The only bird calls that I have are TV shows. So we've been watching Gotham, and so it's actually not about technically Batman yet, because Bruce Wayne is still a small child. I want to say he's anywhere between an 11 and 12-year-old boy. But it's the story essentially, like why, or the story of James Gordon, who at the time of, Batman's height is the police commissioner. If you do not know this, I'm not going to say spoiler alert, because it's all something we should know.
I didn't know.
No, not really something we should all know. It's just me showing my nerd colors again. But so we've been watching that, and we've been really enjoying that. But this is me pointing it out that this is not a show for small children. There's a lot of blood, violence, death involved, relationship to the mob, etc., etc. But it's something that you might enjoy when the kiddies are in bed, and you are for sure that they are asleep.
As with any show worth watching, really, in my opinion.
And then we've also been enjoying Constantine, which is a new program. And if you guys remember the Constantine, the movie, with who's the guy from The Matrix?
Oh yeah, Keanu Reeves.
Thank you very much. And
actually, it's surprising that I was even able to pull that name out of my head, because usually I'm terrible.
Well, he just started a new movie called John Wick's, I do believe.
I don't know. I am very, very behind on anything like current at all.
But that's actually supposed to be a decent movie. I'm sure Keanu Reeves is a good guy, but his acting abilities I'm questioning about. But anyways,
I don't think you're alone.
But yeah, so the TV show is actually really kind of cool. They go after paranormal disturbances, and that John Constantine has a British accent, and he calls people wankers and whatever else, and those of you who are not familiar with British slang, that some of the things might be offensive if you are familiar with British slang, but again, it's a show that is specifically for adults, not for children. Again, blood, guts, gore, hell, fire, and damnation is involved. But we've been really enjoying them, so that's my bird call.
Okay. Did you get any mail?
I did not get any mail, which is sorely disappointing, because I have 2 things that I've been waiting on, and I think they're in a boat somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic.
It's possible. Or they were FedExed. Because guess what? FedEx doesn't deliver here, which means it gets transferred to the USPS.
At customs.
And which means that it sits around doing
nothing.
Who knows what for months before you ever see it.
Yep.
So, anyway. I got some Christmas presents in the mail already at the beginning of November.
Because her mother-in-law loves you.
Yes, from my mother-in-law. She's on top of it, and she got stuff mailed right away to make sure it got here on time. But the problem is that it got here so soon that it's just going to torture me until I can use it, because this is all, of course, like fun
fiber-related things.
Yes, and toys that, I just can't wait to use them, so I gotta wait till Christmas.
We're not going to show them until Christmas?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. I guess that's your teaser to hang out with us until Christmas.
Yeah, I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if that's enough incentive. Hopefully we're enough incentive on our own.
Sparkling personalities and all that.
Yeah. But, anyway, I think that's it for me then. Anything else to add?
Nope, I think that is it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take lots of pictures and hopefully some videos and things at Okinawa World, and I'll make sure to hit the weaving area.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so...
Bring lots of yen. That place is kind of expensive.
Okay, good to know. Anyway, and then we'll see you guys next week. So have a great week.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.